Peter Burns fouls this one off, and it is now 1-1, and I'm going to send it to Calvin Cristoforo for the next couple of innings. And Calvin taking over for Reeves Jackson, who is going to pick up his family. Excited about that. The Georgia kid. Finally, his parents are coming into town, Calvin, and he picked a good game, I guess, for his parents to come in. It's 12-2. The Braves are trailing by 10, by far and away the most they've trailed this season.
Yeah, well, thank you, Daniel. The Braves down 12-2 here at Lowell Park. Peter Burns, the left-handed hitting catcher. We're seeing him at DH tonight, digging in. The left-handed batter's box, Ian Fogo still out there on the mound, pitching out of the stretch as he's done all night long. Burns standing in the back of the left-handed batter's box. The 2-1 pitch gets the corner of the strike zone. It's 2-2. Nobody out here in the seventh.
Yeah, actually, back in the fourth, Peter Burns was caught stealing. He's gone on base twice. His second time, he was caught stealing with getting a taste of his own medicine by
yes.
Matt Donlin behind the plate, and he was gunned down, stealing from first to second.
Especially after throwing 3 runners out against Harwich the other night. The 2-2 pitch is taken off the outside corner, but it's called strike 3. Peter Burns doesn't like the call, but he heads back to the dugout with his bat on his shoulder. Another strikeout by Ian Fogo, and Peter Burns is down for out number 1.
Tell you what, Fogo is pitching one heck of a game here for the Kettleers. And I told Nick Galley off the air, it just seemed like one of those games where you kind of have to wait Fogo out until Roberts makes a decision, because he has the number of each and every batter for the Braves.
Well, now here's Lucas Costello, the left fielder, in his second appearance. Hits this one high and deep to left field, but under it is Suggs retreating, puts his right hand up and makes the grab. 2 quick outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Peter Burns and Lucas Costello down quickly. Now 2 outs, turns the top of the lineup back over, and Joe Lampe will step in.
And if I'm Harvey Shapiro, this game might be just too far out of our way. 10-run deficit for the Braves to come back from. But if I'm Harvey Shapiro, I want to see some momentum moving into tomorrow's game. And hopefully we get some sort of action, as Joe Lampe going to start things off with 2 outs, and he steps in, takes a fastball high, and just looking for the top of the order to really get their footing moving towards the latter half of the season.
Yeah, let's see if Joe Lampe can get things going again. 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Couple of ground outs to second base, and then swung and missed at strike 3. 1-0 Lampe takes a fastball outside for ball 2. A good hitter's count here for Joe. It's 2-0.
Yeah, and got to force Fogo to make it into the strike zone here, but he's done so thus far, and really it seems like the velocity change from Fruit to Fogo has been the kryptonite for the Braves.
Fogo making his 3rd appearance of the season, skips in a fastball 2-0. It's in the dirt. It'll go to 3-0 here on Joe Lampe, the Braves leadoff hitter, trying to get on base for the first time this afternoon. Arizona State product with his Red Sox pulled up high, Evo shield on his front hand, his front left elbow.
A picture-perfect night here, but just not the performance we wanted.
Fastball comes across the top of the strike zone. It's in there, though. It's a 3-1 count. Sun is going down quickly here at Lowell Park. We all know without the lights, they play until it gets dark. So the Braves need to start coming back fast if they want to get some sort of comeback here. As a 3-1 pitch misses down low, and Joe Lampe is on base. He takes ball 4. So there'll be one on with 2 out here in the top of the 7th.
Well, Lampe's on for the first time tonight, and that's the first time that Fogo has really just hadn't had a good grasp of the ball there and couldn't find the strike zone. And I think Roberts.
Yeah, I think he's going to the bullpen here after the walk. Fogo doesn't want to face the right-handed hitting Max Anderson, so that'll do it for Ian Fogo. You gotta admire though his performance out of the bullpen. The Lenore and Ryan product came in, gave Coach Roberts some solid innings on the mound, kept the Braves at bay, but it looks like his evening is done.
Yeah, and we're going to tell you all about the new pitcher for the Cotuit Kettleers here in the top of the 7th just after a quick break.
Ian Fago gets a good ovation as he trots off the field here at Lowell Park, and why not? 4 scoreless innings, striking out 5, but he gives way to the Division III product, Logan Maitland, making his 4th appearance of the year for Cotuit, a 1.58 ERA over 3 games. In 5 2/3 innings, has struck out 8, given up 5 hits, while walking 4. We'll see what he can do with 2 outs and Joe Lampe on first base here in the top half of the 7th. He'll have to deal with the Nebraska product, Max Anderson.
Yeah, Max Anderson's still looking today to get on base. And how about Maitland? You looking at up and down his numbers. He has a 1.58 ERA in 3 appearances. This will be his 4th today, and all of which have come in losses for the Cotuit Kettleers. I think this might be the first win that he comes in for, but 3 games, and he's thrown 5 2/3 innings, 8 strikeouts, and 4 batters walked, 5 hits against, but has only allowed 1 run in his 3 outings.
Well, here's something interesting, too. Maitland, I mentioned a UMass Dartmouth product. Ironically, that's where the Wareham Gatemen are staying in housing for the summer.
Not too far.
Yeah, Maitland could have been staying in his home at UMass Dartmouth if he played for the Gatemen, but he's in Cotuit as Joe Lampe's off on the first pitch, nobody covering second base, so he trots in to second with a defensive indifference. The first pitch slider was over the heart of the plate for strike 1.
That was the funkiest steal I've ever seen. It was almost like Joe Lampe was undercover going across from first to second. No one covering and no reaction from Donlin.
The 0-1 pitch is another breaking ball, and Max Anderson is out ahead of it. He swings through it. Quickly 0-2 on the Braves' third baseman, having a little bit of a rough evening. 0 for 3 at the plate, grounded to third, flew to right, flew to left. Joe Lampe leads off second base. The 0-2 pitch is a ground ball tapped to the third baseman. Trice, he comes in, he can't handle it. Everybody's going to be safe. Max Anderson goes to first, Joe Lampe down to third. It's going to be ruled an infield single for Max Anderson, who gets his first knock of the afternoon.
Good for Anderson. Really the first thing that has gone his way today. That one unable to be handled cleanly by Trice coming in. Got it at the end of the glove, almost snow-coned it a bit. Lost it, but I think Max Anderson would have beaten it out anyway, and Dalton Rushing now has men on first and third.
The Braves still trailing 12-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Joe Lampe on third, Max Anderson on first, Dalton Rushing, a home run last night in Orleans, already a home run tonight, stands in against Logan Maitland. First pitch fastball is fouled away for strike 1.
Haven't heard a car. So that's
you never know here at Lowell Park. The parking lot is very close. Rushing, the left-handed hitter, black helmet with the white batting gloves, red arm sleeve, and the left-handed batter's box. Maitland on the mound sporting the high maroon socks. Comes to the set. Anderson leaves off first. High leg kick from Maitland. A pitch comes in. It's a slider low. The count will even at 1-1.
Yeah, good eye there from Dalton Rushing. And how about a good time for him to come alive? He was 0 for 15. He responded to that last night at Orleans with a base knock with 2 outs at the top of the 9th.
It really seemed like he was hitting the ball really, really hard. They were just unfortunately getting into outs as the 1-1 pitch misses up and away. So it's a 2-1 count with 2 on and 2 out here in the top half of the 7th. The Braves still in a 10-run hole, trailing Cotuit 12-2 here at Lowell Park with the sun quickly going down. 6:40 right now. Dalton Rushing looking to drive some more runners in. Maitland kicks and deals the fastball that clips the outside corner. So the count will even at 2-2.
Yeah, and as I was saying, Dalton's going to have to be back to his early season self, who was just as sure-handed as ever and as good with the bat, but he's responded with 2 home runs in 2 consecutive games.
Maitland kicks and fires the ground ball, fielded quickly by the first baseman Martorella. He steps on the bag himself, and Maitland is out of the jam. No runs on a hit in the inning. The Braves leave 2 runners stranded. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th. Cotuit still up big. It's 12-2 Kettleers here at Lowell Park. New pitcher to tell you about for the Bravos is the right-hander Josh Eknes, who comes in out of the bullpen relieving Bryson Cafaro. And a new color commentary to tell you about. It's Nick Galley, our beat reporter, who joins me for the bottom half of the 7th inning. Nick, I'll sum it up quickly. All in all, it hasn't been a very good night at Lowell Park.
No. To say it, gently, I would say it's been a pretty rough night, and even the broadcast team here. This is not our job.
This is a makeshift broadcast.
This is
here.
not the broadcast team. This is
Well, we're part of the broadcast team.
We are. We're part of the broadcast. We're not the broadcasters.
We're not the broadcasters.
I mean, we're gonna see how this is gonna go because we do before the Bravos.
Which is
stellar.
arguably the best part of the broadcast.
I mean, stellar. I mean, people. I hear people just tune into that and leave as soon as Dan and Reeves come on.
That's the rumor I was hearing too.
It is what it is,
The rumor I heard was people tune in to before the Bravos. They shut the game off, and then they just have post notifications on for @the_Nick Galley on Twitter, and that's how they follow the game.
That's all you need, honestly, and it's understandable because clearly we're the best. I mean,
don't want to toot our own horn, but he's not wrong.
I just like to spit the facts.
Well, the Braves down 12-2 here at Lowell Park. Josh Eknes towing the rubber for his first time. First guy to meet him is Brett Roberts, who went to the opposite field driving one out. In his last at-bat, the Florida State product takes a big swing on a 96-mile-an-hour Josh Eknes fastball and fouls it straight back.
I got to say, you're doing pretty good on the play-by-play.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Coming in from the sideline, stepping in for Reeves, who's picking up his parents from the airport. The 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball that Roberts is confused by. Takes a swing and a miss as it bounces up in the dirt, and quickly it's 0-2 to Roberts as Josh Eknes is working with some serious tempo on the mound.
Good.
The 0-2 pitch is down low, 97 miles an hour. Did you know Eknes had that much mustard?
Yes, I knew he had that much mustard. Of course.
Eknes is throwing the ball really hard here and working really quickly. Quick kicks and fires on the 1-2. It's a breaking ball, and it's fouled over the first base dugout as Roberts hanging in there. Still a 1-2 count. Nobody on, nobody out here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. The Kettleers with a 12-2 lead against the Bourne Braves.
I mean, this is the first time we've really seen the Braves
Absolutely.
just
95 on the 1-2 fastball is fouled straight off. A good at-bat here by Brett Roberts, who got down in an 0-2 count early, has fouled a couple of pitches off, and is still hanging in there with a 1-2 count against the Braves reliever Josh Eknes facing his first batter.
You try and keep a positive outlook on it.
As Josh Eknes finally gets Roberts to bite, it's a breaking ball that he went fishing for. It's a strikeout by Josh Eknes, and Roberts is down by the way of the K for the second time this afternoon.
You have to tell yourself that these games happen, and that's kind of the positive outlook that you have to put the spin on a little bit. These games happen. You went 29 games without getting absolutely just smacked around, and in baseball you're going to get smacked around sooner or later. It is what it is. Long season. In every league, no matter what league it is. I remember my little league team getting smacked around today. It happened more times than not. MLB, Red Sox get smacked around, you name it. So it happens,
It happens. We'll see the Braves respond as Nathan Martorella hits a hard line drive up the middle. Tanner Schobel can't handle it, and it looks like he's in a little bit of a pain.
Oh, no.
Took a dive. It was a hard line drive off the
right.
left-handed bat of Nathan Martorella. Tanner Schobel dove to his left, sucked the glove out there, had it originally. He couldn't control it when he hit the dirt. It looked like he hurt his wrist a little bit, but he is up and walking around. It looks like he'll be fine and will stay in the game. It's a base hit, though, for Nathan Martorella, his first knock of the afternoon.
I want to go back to something.
Yep, please do.
Second inning, bases loaded, you have no outs, right? Bases loaded, no outs, you're only able to push across one run that inning.
Yes.
That set the tone for this entire game.
I couldn't agree more as Eknes working from the stretch of fastball as Dalton Rushing can't control it behind the plate. It's off his mitt and back behind home plate. Martorella moves up 90 feet. He now stands on second with one out here in the 7th.
So,
I completely agree with you. And the same thing in Orleans last night, right? The Braves, they scored 5 runs, but they had opportunities in that game to score more.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that is what sets the tone. And you look at it now, you have to take those opportunities so much more seriously than you want. I mean, you always got to take them serious, as Eknes misses here. But you have to take them more seriously now that the offense is different. You lost some very talented players. And this bullpen, this pitching staff, it doesn't have guys like Gordon Graceffo. It doesn't have guys like Nick Zwack. those guys that can just come in, kind of close the door immediately.
Dangerous 2-0 pitch is a perfectly placed fastball that catches the outside corner. So it's 2-1 the count. Now to the 7-hitter Matt Suggs, 0 for 2 on the afternoon, reached on a walk, reached on an error, and then struck out swinging. Nathan Martorell, the runner at second base, as Josh Eknes works from the stretch.
Oh.
The 1-2 pitch is a curveball that gets away from him, not even off Dalton Rushing's glove, straight to the backstop. And Martorella, who singled, has reached on 2 wild pitches, so now he stands on third base. In a good hitter's count here for Matt Suggs, a 3-1 count he's worked himself into.
I mean, when it rains, it pours, I
Absolutely.
guess. It's one of those games. There's really not much analysis to say. It's one of those games where nothing is going right. The first 3 innings were decent, but
the 3-1 pitch is a broken bat base hit, but it will duck into center field. Joe Lampe fields it on 3 hops, but it's an RBI single for Matt Suggs as Nathan Martorella moves over. Cost him the bat, but it'll take the RBI.
I'm sure he'll take it. I'm sure you can get a new bat, I'm sure he's fine with that.
But that's another example of a Kettleer hit that wasn't the hardest, but just dropped in the right spot. Martorella scores. The lead is now 13-2. The Kettleers are pouring it on, an 11-point advantage against the West Division champions Bourne Braves.
Yeah, I mean,
another hard hit ball. Max Anderson, though, scoops this. It could be a double play. On to Zach Agnos, on to Josh Moylan. It's a 5-4-3 double play, and that is exactly what Josh Eknes needed on the mound. As the Kettleers looked like they could break through in the beginning, but the 5-4-3 gets Eknes out of it. The Kettleers, though, do score another run, and Nick, it is not looking good here as we head to the top of the 8th.
I was just going to say, before I head off, obviously not looking good. If there's a single positive to take out of today, this team has not been a team that has turned a lot of double plays all year. We have seen 3 today.
Yes.
So you like that for the future. If you go home, you need something to think about after this long kind of marathon sprint of a game here. I said marathon sprint. I think those are kind of contradicting.
They're conflicting terms.
They are conflicting.
I was going to let you go how far as you wanted.
They are contradicting terms.
Yep. So is it a marathon or a sprint?
It's a marathon. It's a marathon. This marathon of a game.
Hypothetically, you finish a marathon, you might want to sprint the last, 50 yards or so.
You see the finish line, you go.
Absolutely.
As I was saying, if there's any positive takeaway, it's that the Braves have turned 3 double plays alone in this game, and it's worked them out of some jams, which mean nothing now, but
Well, leave it to Nick Galley to always find the positive. I'm sure
I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Your post-game report, your post-game recap, though, will not be as positive.
It's pretty much 90% written. It's not good.
The Braves trail 13-2 here as we make the turn at Lowell Park to the top of the 8th inning. Daniel Coates will hop back on, but Nick, as always, thanks so much for the time.
Hey, we'll shake hands. I know we're off camera, but we gotta.
It happened anyway. So Daniel's coming back on. The Braves trail 13-2 as we head to the top of the 8th inning. Daniel Coates is back on the mic, and the Braves are back on offense. They trail 13-2 here at Cotuit's Lowell Park. Colby Thomas, the 4-hitter, will start things off, followed by Tanner Schobel and Josh Moylan. First pitch by Maitland is off the outside corner on a breaking ball for ball number 1.
Nick Galley, another time on and another run scored against.
Yep. Add that to the streak for Nick Galley as the 0-1 pitch is missed outside, even at 1-1.
And Colby Thomas, on the day he was hit by a pitch. He flew out twice to center field, still looking to tack on a hit.
Had the home run last night, hits this one on the ground to the first baseman Mortarella. He scoops it up and tosses it over to Maitland, who is covering first base. It's a 3-1 put out for Colby Thomas, and he's down quickly as an easy first out here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, just not Colby's day, and it might be the last time that we see him at the plate. And he had one heck of a home run last night over the 300 mark at Eldridge Park. But here comes Tanner Schobel, who's coming in as hot as any Bourne Brave that has taken to the base or taken to home plate recently.
Yeah, Tanner 1 for 2 in the day. Singled and walked, has also flown out to center field. 1-1 count now. We're seeing Logan Maitland for the first time. The UMass Dartmouth product, part of the Little East Conference. Here in New England as Schobel takes a swing at a 91-mile-an-hour heater and fouls it straight off over the wooden bleachers behind the first base dugout. So not the Braves' night here, Daniel, obviously, but what are you looking for? And Nick highlighted the double plays, but what are you looking for? Maybe something the Braves can build off of heading into tomorrow and in the future.
Well, I think it really just comes down to, again, it's concerns that we had at the beginning of the season where we had a bases-loaded situation. We only got one out of that inning, and we had opportunities to get out of innings, and we had errors against us, and the Cotuit Kettleers were able to jump all over us after that, and were able to score these runs in a game that, we might have been able to go back and forth when we have with the Cotuit Kettleers in the past, but the momentum is fully on their side, and we just haven't been able to respond.
Maitland's 2-2 pitch to Schobel as a fastball grounded right at our feet if the fence wasn't here. Hits the fence right in front of us, fouled off as Tanner is hanging around against Logan Maitland in his second inning of relief here at Lowell Park.
But I think the one thing that we can take away is that Ken Turner can produce as a starter. I know he gave up 4 runs, but he knew, and this team knew, as well as the fans here knew, that he pitched well. The Hartford kid had a couple of errors that didn't help him, especially from the left side of the infield, but he pitched well, and he could be a guy that we see start a game in the playoffs.
Absolutely, as Tanner Schobel fouls another pitch off. It was a 3-2 breaking ball that he lined foul down the first base side. So a full count here to the Braves shortstop. Bravo is trailing 13-2 here in Cotuit. Maitland's ready, kicks and fires to the fastball that misses high, and for the second time tonight, Tanner Schobel reaches on ball 4.
Yeah, Tanner Schobel just knows how to get on base. He is going to be huge, and he has stepped up quite a bit coming into that 5 spot. In the 9 spot, he was as effective, but he is similar to Joe Lampe, where you could put him in the top of the order. You can put him in the middle, you can put him in the bottom. He produces everywhere, and at that 5 spot, especially with the departure of Caden Wallace and Braylon Wimmer, he's a crucial factor going into the playoffs.
I couldn't agree more, especially as this Braves offense has seen some guys leave. Braylon Wimmer, Caden Wallace, the first 2 that come to mind. So it's critical to get Tanner Schobel going, and also Josh Moylan, who now stands in 1 for 2 on the evening, 3-game hitting streak. Maitland kicks and deals. Moylan hits a hard line drive into right center field, sinking fast. It'll fall in front of the center fielder Grady, who fields on a hop, and Josh Moylan has his second base hit of the day. He's on first base, so 2 on and 1 out for the Braves second baseman Zach Agnos.
I'll tell you what, Joshua Moylan feeling it as of late. He is seeing the ball well and hitting it hard, and if this continues with the lack of depth we have in the batter's box, I wonder if Harvey Shapiro would consider maybe moving Joshua Moylan up in the lineup.
I'm sure he would, especially, the way he's been hitting the ball. Captain Crank, as they call him in the dugout when he's going good. Zach Agnos, another guy, though, who the Braves would like to see hot, has struck out 3 times today, looking to avoid the dreaded golden sombrero here as he bats with 1 away in the 8th inning, 2 runners on. Zach was part of that second inning where he struck out with the bases loaded and nobody out. Trying to make amends for that right now. Maitland kicks and deals with the fastball that misses high, so a great hitter's count for Zach Agnos to do some damage. It's 2-0, and Mike Roberts is making the slow walk out to the mound to talk to his pitcher, Logan Maitland.
An interesting move right now, and I wonder why Roberts is coming out. I'm not sure if we'll see a pitching change.
I didn't think anyone in the Cotuit pen was hot, so I think this is a just check in on Logan Maitland, who has given up a walk and a base hit back-to-back. Sure, the Kettleers still nursing a huge lead, 13-2, as we play in the top of the 8th inning, but a good hitter's count to a good hitter. Zach Agnos, sure, he's been very inconsistent, but can do damage at the dish. I'm sure he'd love to get a good swing in, something positive to bring back with him on the bus home.
Exactly. Just try and get that base knock and maybe get some more runs here across for the Bourne Braves in blue. And Tanner Schobel leads the way at second. Behind him is Joshua Moylan. Zach Agnos, as you mentioned, 3 strikeouts on the day. Just not his evening here at Lowell Park. Looking to right the ship a little bit here, add to his stats, boost those a little bit and, just create some momentum moving towards YD at home tomorrow.
Yeah, Zach hitting just 180 on the year, 11 for 61, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. But he's standing in the right-hander's batter's box. Maitland's 2-0 pitch is a fastball hit up the middle off Maitland's glove, corrals it as one play, it's to first, and he's able to stay calm and fire it on to Zach Agnos at first base. So Agnos is retired 1-3. The runners both advance 90 feet. They'll be on second and third, but with 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, just a really bad break for Zach Agnos there. It's exactly what you are told to do as a batter. Just send it back where it came from. And
yep.
A great stab by Maitland, and he kept his composure and fielded it off the front of the mound and gunned him down in time.
Well, it sets up Peter Burns, if it does nothing else, sets up Peter Burns to bring in a pair of runs, who takes a strike at the knees. Falls behind 0-1. Pete on the day, a single, a hit by pitch, and a strikeout looking.
He also has an RBI off that single.
Looking to get 2 more here as he takes a swing and fouls it away. So the count quickly at 0-2. Logan Maitland not messing around here with the Braves DH tonight. 2 straight fastballs, and he's quickly up to 0-2.
4 RBIs on the season for the BC catcher, who's now at the designated hitter spot. One of those came at the most important times at the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs against the Orleans Firebirds.
Maitland kicks and deals. The 0-2 pitch is high. Is it going to stay in play? Fouled away, it won't. Dahlin took a look at it behind home plate, but he watches it fall into the Kettleers concourse here at Lowell Park. So Peter Burns staying alive. 0-2 the count, 2 on, 2 away in the 8th inning. The Braves trailing the Kettleers by 11 runs, 13-2. But hit here by Peter Burns would add another positive note to this Braves game. The left-handed bat choking up on the stick with 2 outs. It's a curveball that he hits softly down the first base line. It rolls foul. So he'll stay alive once again as he fouls another 0-2 pitch away. He'll see a third from the Kettleer right-hander Logan Maitland.
Maitland pitching well, other than giving up a base knock to Joshua Moylan. And, he, coming from a smaller program at UMass Dartmouth, you would think that he might be getting hit up a little bit more down here on the Cape, but he has transitioned incredibly well. This is his 3rd appearance, and it's as good as any that he's posted.
The next 0-2 pitch is a slider that is just in at the knees for Peter Burns, but missed just in, so the count goes to 1-2. Maitland, the Division III product, rocking the number 47 on the Kettleers' white pinstripe jerseys. Kicks and fires out of the stretch, and Burns fouls another one away. This one a fly ball down the left field line. Falls foul, so they'll do it again at 1-2. As Burns putting together a pretty good at-bat here with 2 away in the 8th inning.
And here comes Roberts. I got to imagine this is going to be a pitching change with a 1-2 count, 2 outs.
Yeah, I don't understand this at all. 1-2, 2 outs in the inning, an 11-run lead. Unless Logan Maitland is on some sort of pitch count, this is an interesting call to the bullpen for me.
Well, I got to imagine he is, because if not, this is a very bizarre move. But we have a new Kettleer pitcher coming in from the left field bullpen. And I believe that Maitland's night is done, and Roberts making the call that they're going to end his night in the top of the 8th with a 1-2 count to Peter Burns with 2 outs.
And this is interesting. You look at this as a hitter's standpoint, Daniel. 1-2, you fouled off 3 balls already. Right now, 1 pitch, you're going to have to be swinging at the first pitch. This is most likely the first time Peter Burns has seen Oliver in his life. That's the new pitcher. We'll get to tell you about him in a second.
Well, you look down at the pitch count for Maitland. He's at 30 right now. I have to imagine this was a matter of load management and just, Roberts and Shapiro have to work a lot with the demands and the needs of the college coaches that the players are coming from. And I'm sure Maitland, they wanted to just cap him at 30. He was doing a great job. They hoped that he would get Peter Burns in the amount of pitches that he had left. He hit 30, and, now here comes Oliver. And I think that's kind of the situation that we're in. It seems bizarre now, but then you think about load management, and you can't go back to the head coach and have him say, he threw 31, 32. And
It must be
you
a hard.
cap
It must
at
have been
30.
a hard cap.
You cap it hard at 30, and that's just how the Cape League works.
I guess, but still, with 1 out, with 2 outs and a 2-strike count on Peter Burns, it's just interesting to me that he was pulled in the middle of that bat. But he gives away to Hamilton Oliver, the right-handed pitcher from Corpus Christi, Texas, of the Baylor Bear, making his 8th appearance of the season. And it's been a struggle for him on the year coming from Baylor. 0-1, an ERA just a tick under 9 in 11 and a third innings of work, has given up 14 hits in 11 innings and 1 out. So maybe an opportunity for the Braves to jump on a guy, but it's hard with 1 and 2 count on the batter and 2 outs and 2 on here in the 8th inning. And Nick Galley wants to come on. He thinks Nick Galley's going to give us some insight here as we're in this pitching change.
Yeah, I have some insight. I have no idea what just happened. I mean, 13-2 game, 8th inning. You got 2 outs. What is it? 1-2 count.
I think, Nick, that they capped him at 30
They
pitches.
capped him.
At 30 hard. He had 20 strikes on 10 balls. 30. I think they hoped that he would finish out the inning with Peter Burns at the 30 mark, but it must have been a hard 30.
It had to be then,
30
right?
30 pitches in his outing. I can't imagine that came from Roberts.
College coach.
I'm
probably.
sure it was the college coach saying, I'm going to cap him at 30.
Okay, that makes more sense then. I was going to say I didn't know what else it would have been. So thank you for that, Daniel.
And this pitching change is really interesting to me because this very well could be the last batter of the game. The sun is going down here at Lowell Park. They might end this game after this inning. So Peter Burns could be the last hitter in this game. Braves trailing 13-2, 2 outs and 2 on. Runners on second and third. Tanner Schobel at third. Josh Moylan at second. Peter Burns facing Hamilton Oliver with a 1-2 count on him. First pitch is a fastball that misses just off the outside corner for ball number 2.
An 87. Not necessarily the highest velocity we've seen. Of course, Fago was throwing absolute gas.
Yeah, Fago, the Lenore and Ryan product stuck around between 94 and 96. But Oliver from the stretch, the 2-2 pitch, a fastball is up and by Peter Burns, who swings through it for out number 3. The Braves threaten once again but don't score. They leave 2 runners on in the inning. We're heading to the bottom of the 8th. It's the Cotuit Kettleers 13 and the Braves 2. You're listening to Bourne Braves Baseball here in the Cape Cod League. Thirteen to 2 is the Kettleers' lead here at Lowell Park as we begin the bottom half of the 8th inning. Josh Eknes back on the mound, and Daniel, the Braves have already clinched first place here in the West Division, but this is a big game for Cotuit. What's going on around the region, and how is this game going to affect the West Division standings?
Well, it's going to affect it quite a bit. I mean, you look around the West Division, obviously a 13-2 game here. Cotuit has taken over. The Falmouth Commodores are up on the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 5-1. And then you look at the Chatham Anglers versus Wareham Gateman game, bottom of the first, very early in that game. It's a 0-0 score, but assuming that the Cotuit Kettleers hold on, they are going to have 27 points. That's going to tie them with the Wareham Gatemen at 27. And assuming they lose, but Falmouth wins, Falmouth might be looking at the 2 spot. If they hold on to a 5-1 victory, that would get them to 28 points. Behind them would be the 27-point Cotuit Kettleers.
And Falmouth also with a game in hand due to a rain delay as Jace Grady hits one high and deep down the left field line, but Lucas Costello rolls over and makes the catch. for out number one. Like I was saying, the Commodores have a game in hand because they have had more rainouts. They've played less games. So points is what it looks like the standings are to come down to, but this year it's actually percentage based on points available. So with that happening, Falmouth right now has the game in hand, so even if the points are tied, the Commodores would get the tiebreaker.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense. And Falmouth is a team right now that's really, other than last night's game against the Chatham Anglers, that were coming off be a tough matchup. But also coming here at Lowell Park with a venue that brings out droves of fans. It's a tough place to play, and they're proving that tonight. A 13-2 deficit for the Braves. Eknes back on the mound facing a 1-1 count with one out after a fly out to Costello. And, just, again, not the Braves' night.
Yeah, and after the Braves down by 11 runs here in the 8th inning, this is a game they're going to remember. They're definitely going to remember it. It's whether it pushes them forward or hinders them back. It's whatever the Braves take it. As it's a 1-2 count on the batter, it's Carter Trice, who looks at a breaking ball that falls over his head for ball number 2. Trice, a pretty good afternoon, 3 for 4, has scored 3 times, has been on base 4 times, a pair of singles, a double, and also reached on a drop third strike. Seeing the Braves reliever Josh Eknes for the second time, who works out of the windup. His 2-2 pitch bounces by rushing to the backstop. It's down low for ball 3. Eknes in his second inning of work gave up a run in the 8th.
Eknes is throwing strikes, just not in this at-bat now, and looking to just try and get out of this inning as quickly as possible. As you mentioned, Calvin, we might be looking at the last potential half inning here at Lowell Park.
Well, I think it would have ended if the Braves would have hit. Now that the Kettleers are hitting, I think for certain we're going to get a 9th inning where the Braves get their at-bats. As Trice fouls the 3-2 pitch straight back. So we'll do it again. Josh Eknes, whose fastball's been sitting right around 96, 97, kicks and deals. It's a heater, and another one fouled away. That one coming in at 98 miles an hour. So we're seeing Josh Eknes get up there with the velocity as he has worked a full count good battle here with the Kettleers third baseman Carter Trice.
How about Trice, though? 3 for 4 on the day, 2 singles, a double, and he struck out, but at that time it was a dropped third strike. He's gotten on base every single at-bat tonight, all 4, and he has put up quite an impressive showing, and that's his 5th time on the base path now after a walk low and inside.
Fastball misses in, like you mentioned, Daniel, so Trice is on for the 5th time this afternoon, and now it's the Kettleers' meat of the order. The shortstop, Ryan Ritter, steps in. Another good night for him. He's been on base 3 times. 2 for 4, bounced into a double play, reached on an error by Max Anderson, and then has singled twice. The Kentucky product, check swing at a first pitch fastball. He did go around, so it is strike 1 on Ryan Ritter. Still rocking his Kentucky cleats, Kentucky blue with a royal blue shin guard on his left leg, also a royal blue arm sleeve on his left arm. The right-handed bat looks at a slider that misses away for ball number 1.
Now, if I'm playing manager in Harvey Shapiro's role, and I'll show it to you, Calvin, what do you think about Dalton rushing behind the plate? I think if you now have two guys in John Garcia and Peter Burns, I would rather see Dalton rushing in the designated hitter spot than Peter Burns.
I agree with you, or over at first base. But Garcia and Burns, they got to get their nights off too. So Dalton rushing, filling in tonight.
Or even, put Joshua Moylan now maybe at the designated hitter spot.
Yeah, too, right, with the way Josh Moylan's hitting. But rushing behind the plate right now, as it's a 1-2 count on the batter Ritter, a curveball as Rushing goes up with it and tries a snap throw down to first base, but sliding back head first is Carter Trice in time. It was a high breaking ball, so Trice kind of got caught leaning over to second base, not knowing if that one was going to skip to the backstop. But Rushing stabbed it out of the air and quickly tossed it down to first base. But luckily, Trice able to slide back head first. 2-2 now the count on Ritter. It's a fastball that misses high, so for the second straight batter, the count has gone full. Carter Trice at first base, reached on a walk. Ryan Ritter, the shortstop, standing in.
Eknes is showing off his velocity today, but just not the accuracy, just especially in this inning, as that one misses high as well, but it's 96 on the gun, and men on first and second. This game is not getting any shorter.
Yeah, back-to-back walks for the Lamar right-hander Josh Eknes. The sun continuing to set here at Lowell Park as they play with no lights here in Cotuit. Not sure how much longer this game can go, and now Eddie Marco is going to make the slow walk out of the first base dugout. The Braves pitching coach checking in on Josh Eknes, who after getting a fly out to the left fielder Costello has issued back-to-back walks. And now Eric Brown Jr., the Chanticleer from Coastal Carolina, is up with 2 on and 1 away. Brown has hit the ball hard again tonight, grounded out to third in the first inning, but after that, a single in the third, a 2 RBI roped double to left field in the fourth, and then a long fly out to the right fielder, Thomas, in the sixth, getting his fifth at-bat of the night here in the eighth inning, and seeing Josh Eknes for the first time. 13 runs on 14 hits for Cotuit, and if you're just joining us, the Braves hopped out to a 2-0 lead early. It has been 13 unanswered runs ever since for the Cotuit Kettleers, who are fighting for their playoff berth with less than 10 games to go here in the 2021 Cape Cod League season. Eknes back on the mound, working from the stretch. It's a first pitch fastball. It's hit off the handle. This one is shallow into right field. Colby Thomas coming on, puts away the catch. Bluffing the tag off of second base is Trice, who will retreat back to the bag, and Brown Jr. is retired for out number 2 of the bottom of the 8th inning.
Going to have to deal with Noah Bridges as potentially the last batter for the Kettleers, and talk about an offensive showing from the Kettleers who don't have Luke Gold in the lineup.
Yeah, it's impressive.
One of their best batters who strained his back a bit yesterday, hitting a home run, I have to mention. And
if there's one way to go out, I guess
yeah,
that's the way you would want to get hurt.
I mean, just goes to show how impressive he was. But this lineup has not skipped a beat. But I think the name of this game is that one catches right down the middle, 0-1 on a 94-mile-per-hour heater. The name of this game is the 3 errors. You know, coming into this with a good outing from Turner, but all of the opportunities that have really silenced us, that have added on top of each other, have been the error opportunities with 2 outs.
Yeah, Braves was 3 errors, and they could have 1 or 2 more. Official scoring goes the opposite way. As even the Dogs here at Lowell Park do not like the performance the Bourne Braves have had this afternoon, trailing 13-2. Here at Lowell Park, as a 1-1 fastball misses up, the count will go to 1-2. The number 5 hitter, Noah Bridges, the right fielder, batting with 2 on and 2 out. The left-handed bat working against the Lamar right-hander, Josh Eknes. From the stretch, he kicks and fires, and it's spoiled away.
And that is a car. Oh,
there
boy.
It is. You mentioned you hadn't heard a car.
Oh, boy.
You mentioned it. I'm not saying you jinxed it, but no cars were hit before you mentioned it, and then after you mentioned it, there was a car hit. So I'm not putting any blame on you.
I think that was Reeves.
You think that was Reeves who mentioned it?
I think that was Reeves who did mention it.
I don't think it was. I'm pretty certain it was you.
He mentioned it early on.
All right. You're trying to default a little blame here.
But if anything, it's crazy that that's the first car that we've heard here at Lowell Park. I mean, the parking lot is right behind the backstop, and there's nowhere for these cars to hide from a foul ball, and that one is no exception from Bridges, who's 1 for 3 on the day.
Well, Bridges now in a full count with 2 outs in the 8th. The runners will be going. Eknes, the high leg kick delivery. It's a fastball hit hard to right field, but not deep. Coming on and making the grab is Colby Thomas, and that will retire the side. The Kettleers threaten once again, but don't score. Doesn't matter to them, though. They still lead 13-2 here at Lowell Park as we make the turn for home. 8 innings down, the 9th inning coming for the Bourne Braves, their last chance, and they need 12 runs to take the lead, 11 to tie, to keep this game going. We'll be right back with the 9th inning. You're listening to Bourne Braves Baseball.
Top of the ninth as we enter the twilight zone with the orange sky to our left here on the Cape at Lowell Park. A West Division matchup that has gone well in the favor of the Cotuit Kettleers, who are fighting for their life for that 2 spot, as the Braves have already secured that with Falmouth's loss to Chatham last night. First pitch low and in the dirt. This is going to be Lucas Costello for the 4th time today. We're running out of sunlight, but the Cotuit Kettleers hold an 11-run lead. Another fastball low and outside in the dirt. On deck is actually going to be a pinch hitter in John Garcia. So an interesting move here in the top of the 9th, where, as you mentioned, Calvin, the Braves would have to post 12 runs if they wanted to get out of here with a potential win. A high pop fly coming in is the second baseman, Brown Jr., and he secures that for out number 1.
Yeah, you look at this game, and the Braves, it started off actually well. The Braves opened up a 2-0 lead. They had that second inning where they had the bases loaded and nobody out, only able to scratch one run across home plate. And that really kind of set the tone for the rest of this game. The Braves, nothing after that really went their way. Dalton Rushing got a home run, but the Kettleers, 13 unanswered runs. Some of those benefits of errors by the Braves, some soft contact falling in for hits. But with big, hard hit balls when the Kettleers needed to, they were fighting for their postseason lives, and you got to give all the credit to the team in the maroon pinstripes tonight who defended their home field very well.
1-1. A fastball missing outside for Oliver, who's again back on the mound here in the top of the 9th. The delivery from the windup taken high, a pop fly again, 2 in a row. This one on the left side of the infield. Coming in as the shortstop Ritter for out number 2. The Cotuit Kettleers are 1 out away from win number 13. A step closer for them in the direction of that 2 spot. Max Anderson is the final hope as John Garcia took over for Joe Lampe at the top of the order, who had an 0 for 4 day, I should say 0 for 3 day. He had a walk as well early on. Breaking ball inside to Max Anderson. The 2 spot hitter from Nebraska had a tough day defensively. He had a base hit. A slow chopper down the third base line that was not fielded cleanly by Trice. 1-1 now. Oliver with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Ground ball foul down the first base line. Anderson batting at a .311 clip, 1 for 4 on the day. He has a homer and 8 RBIs. Came in just after Caden Wallace and has been one of the best batters for this team. Foul ball off a high fastball taken down the right field line. 1 strike away for Oliver, who, as you mentioned, Calvin, came in struggling a bit in his appearances for the Kettleers, but has not struggled tonight. 2 pop flies that have retired Lucas Costello and John Garcia, the newcomers. And Max Anderson could be the final Bourne Brave we see in the batter's box tonight. A breaking ball, swing and a miss, and that is going to do it. The Kettleers defeat your Bourne Braves by a score of 13-2 in a game that was completely blown up early on, and the Braves could never battle back. And Calvin, that is about as tough a loss as you're going to see for the Braves this evening. And they go down at the hands of their West Division counterparts. An 11-run deficit. Harvey Shapiro's team still holds and will hold the top spot of the West Division going into the playoffs. But a tough outing and riding a 3-game losing streak now.
Yeah, and all you can do, Daniel, is really flip the page on this, put this one behind you, and go out tomorrow with a level head and try to beat a YD team that you've had success against this season.
Well, catch us tomorrow as the YD Red Sox travel to Doran Park, a 6 o'clock first pitch, as Reeves Jackson and myself, Daniel Coates, will have the call on our video broadcast on our YouTube live stream. 13-2 at Lowell Park in Cotuit, Massachusetts, as the Bourne Braves go down at the hands of the Cotuit Kettleers. Thank you all. Good night, and go Braves.